So Tottenham found a way to snatch a draw from the jaws of victory. Odobert is showing why he's our best left winger at the moment and demanding starts out of Thomas Frank. And there's a clear solution here to our attack, but is Thomas Frank neglecting the obvious, or is it just simply rotation? From a boring start to an electric finish, does this game sum up Thomas Frank's tenure at Spurs so far? What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash the like button and subscribe because we've got massive content coming your way over the next 2 weeks leading up to the North London derby against Arsenal. I'm talking FC26 streams, as well as do career modes, FUT, everything in between. Also a full season review looking at where we're at so far and how Thomas Frank's time at Spurs has been so far. And spoiler alert, it's complicated, and plenty more tactical breakdowns as well. So smash the like button and subscribe. But today, today we're dissecting the chaotic 2-2 draw against Manchester United. And honestly, I don't even know where to start specifically. We scored in the 91st minute. The stadium went absolutely mental, and then we conceded in the 96th from a corner with Delit completely unmarked. I mean, genuinely, you cannot write this stuff up. Look, I'm a Spurs fan through and through, but I'm gonna keep this as neutral as possible. That way I can give you guys the best breakdown and there's no emotional bias coming in, even though there's gonna be a little bit of that, but there's plenty to discuss from both sides. So let's dive into what actually happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Saturday afternoon. All right, so let me paint the picture for you. The first half was, well, it was terrible. Like, genuinely one of the worst and most boring 45 minutes of football you could genuinely imagine. Both teams looked nervous, sloppy touches everywhere, and by the 30th minute mark, United had registered one touch in our penalty box. We had two. That's not good, is it? That's not good at all. Then out of absolutely nowhere, Bruno Mbeumo scores in the 32nd minute, and that goal as a whole was just a complete mismanagement and drop of focus from Spurs as a whole. The ball was bouncing all around there in the box, and Bruno Mbeumo was the one in the right position to get a header to score the goal at the right moment. And honestly, it felt like a comedy of errors from our perspective. We failed to clear the ball, not once, not twice, but multiple times. Amad Diallo whips in a cross, and Mbeumo was completely unmarked at the back post, and he just nods it home. Fair play to him. That's his 5th goal against us in the Premier League, which is his joint most against any team. This guy clearly enjoys playing against Tottenham. But here's the most embarrassing bit. That was the first shot on target in the entire half. For the second home game this season, we didn't manage a single shot on target in the first 45 minutes. That happened only once all of last season, which, as we know, last season was, well, last season was last season. We looked flat, disconnected, and frankly, a bit clueless going forward in that first half. The second half was a lot better though. Christian Romero forced a save out of Lamens with a header, then Joao Palhinha hit a volley that the keeper had to deal with. However, both came through set pieces though, not open play, which tells you a lot about our creativity issues this season. Then, the entire game, nothing, and here came the madness. 84th minute, Matisse Tell, who'd been on the pitch for literally less than 5 minutes, spins brilliantly in the box and absolutely smashes it home. 1-1. The place goes wild because finally, we're level. 91st minute though, Wilson Odobert strikes from distance, where Charleston gets his head to it, and suddenly we're up 2-1. Out of nowhere throughout this entire game, I was losing my head. Odobert, have a go. Oh! Oh my days! Oh my days! Oh my gosh! Oh my days! Come on, come on, there's no way, there's no way. Come on! Yes! My chat was losing their head. The entire stadium was losing their head. And suddenly, in the 91st minute, Wilson Odobert with a crazy, beautiful curved shot, and Richarlison poaches that. And we're up 2-1, and everyone's going mad, because how the hell are we up right now after this entire horrible performance from Spurs throughout this entire game? Romero, who had been subbed off, sprints back onto the pitch to celebrate. Madison's absolutely going crazy in the stands. This is it. We've done it. Our second home league win of the season in the bag. 96th minute, corner comes in. De Ligt rises completely unmarked, heads it home, 2-2. Full time, the stadium just deflates. The joyous atmosphere gone in an instant, and I am sitting there in disbelief. And here's a fun stat for you. This was the first time in the Premier League that Tottenham have gone ahead in the 90th minute and not gone on to win. Of course it was. Of course it was. Okay, but now let's talk what actually changed in this game, because the shift was pretty obvious. When Wilson Odobert and Destiny Udogie came on, everything clicked from the left side. Suddenly we had pace, we had directness, we had someone who could actually beat a man and create something, which helped in the absence of Mohamed Kudus as he was out due to injury. And that's the thing with our system. We need both wings to be threatening. When you've got Odobert on the left linking up with Udogie and then Porro doing his thing on the right with Kudus, we actually look dangerous. The problem is when one side isn't functioning, the whole attack becomes predictable and easy to defend against. And listen, the kid's only 20 years old and he's showing so much maturity in his decision making, and that's honestly so impressive. He's learning when to play quick 1-2s and also when to hold onto the ball so he can try to create something himself. And also when to use his pace, which is extremely important for a player of his size and his ability. And then for him to use his pace to get in behind and then the football intelligence as well, this is what separates the good wingers from the great wingers. And then that shot that led to Richarlison's goal, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He picks up the ball about 25 yards out of the box, takes a touch, and then just leathers it in. Now, it doesn't go directly in. Richarlison gets the final touch, but the power and placement of that strike is what created the chaos, and Lemens can't even get anywhere near that, and then Richarlison is there to tip it in to capitalize. And then Odebert's link-up play is becoming extremely exceptional. He's combining with Udogie really well, and he's finding pockets of space, and he's not afraid to take players on himself. And honestly, he's our best left winger right now. Like, easily, I don't know who else is even going to compete with him at this moment, because it's looking like right now, Odobert is our main left winger at the moment, and he needs to be starting games. The difference between our attack with him on the pitch and without him on the pitch is night and day completely, and if he keeps developing at this rate, we've got a serious player on our hands. And the question then becomes, Frank needs to answer as why he was not starting in the first place. Now, my suspicions tells me that it was just rotation, but only Thomas Frank can know that. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. Thomas Frank's starting lineup was bizarre, absolutely bizarre. We went with Vicario in goal, and then Paulinho, and then the lineup's on screen, you can see it. But now, Richarlison scored, fair enough, but let's be honest, he was poor for most of the match. He was playing on the left wing where he struggled to progress the ball, and sometimes he was going into the middle. It was like a weird interchange between Mwani and Richarlison. Kept losing the ball physical battles against De Ligt, and then there were multiple times where Xavi was driving forward looking for support from Richarlison, but he just was not there. He works hard, but this wasn't the right role for him that we gave him, and we wanted to actually have control in possession. And then Kolo Muani, look, I feel for the guy because it turns out he actually fractured his jaw during the match, which is why he got subbed off at halftime. And listen, that's brutal, but even before the injury, he was struggling to adapt. And we're still trying to figure out exactly what is the answer up front. And performances like this between both those two players just don't help. And then this brings up our striker situation, which is genuinely becoming concerning because we can't find a reliable number one at this moment. Kolomwani is still adapting and he's now injured. Richarlison's late goal was only his second in his last 16 appearances across all competitions, and that's just simply not good enough for someone who should be taking the initiative to be the starting number 9 at this club. And then this is where I have to eat huge humble pie because I'm not the biggest fan of Mathys Tel, and I've been slating this guy like crazy, and it got close to bullying at this point. I'm joking, but genuinely, I'll be honest, credit where it's due. He came on and he scored a crucial goal and he took his chance, and he did the exact same thing against Leeds as well. So maybe it's time to give him a proper run of games. Also, Dane Scarlett is there too, so why not give these two players a chance? And I just want to touch a little bit on Manchester United's game because from a neutral perspective, they actually played pretty well. Neither team really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, but United looked organized and they threatened off the counter-attack. Amad Diallo had a really good game and he constantly was finding pockets of space. His delivery from Mbeumo's goal was perfect and he looked dangerous every time he got on the ball. If United get consistent performances like that from him, they're genuinely onto something this season. And then fair play to United though, like they're on a 5-game unbeaten run now under Ruben Amorim. They showed resilience and they fought until the very end. And then that Delit header was a proper center backs finish, and credit to them to get that equalizing goal late on. I think for this entire game, I think both teams deserved a point. I think a draw is very fair, so fair play to Manchester United. So overall thoughts on this one, it was a decent game, but I still want to see more, much more. The first half was horrible, like change the channel bad type of game, but the second half had energy, drama, and actually had proper football being played. We showed character to battle back from 1-0 down, and those few minutes where we were 2-1 up, it felt like we turned a corner, but then we conceded right at the death, and it's just so Tottenham, isn't it? The biggest takeaways for me are very clear. Odobert and Udogie need to be our focal point down the left side. When they're on the pitch together, we look twice as dangerous, and then that combination has to be a consistent part of our starting lineup. And then I think we still need to figure out our best midfield setup and how to get Xavi Simons on the ball in better positions where he can actually influence games. This guy is so talented. Like, we saw that against Copenhagen, but he needs more help. He needs a deep-lying playmaker that can progress the ball up to him quickly. That way Xavi Simons can run with the ball and find our attackers running up front. And he's dangerous, so dangerous in those areas between the lines. But then the striker problem that we have at this club right now, it isn't going away. We might need to give Tel a genuine run of games because, listen, he's the one that's been scoring every single time he's been playing so far. And he looked really sharp. And we're running out of options. Our players are dropping like flies. We're in the midst of an injury crisis at the moment. So why not give Mathys Tel a run of games? Because I don't really want to see Richarlison like that if I'm being all the way honest, man. Like, let's just be real. And I know as Spurs fans, we're so tired of this, but the reality is that Thomas Frank needs time. And I hear that. I know it's annoying, but especially after we just won the Europa League and we won a trophy and we want to push on. But it's true. Thomas Frank, he needs time because if you look at our injury list, we're racking up injuries at an alarming rate. We had Romero out for a minute, obviously Solanke, Madison, Kulusevski, Kudus, and now Kolomwani with a fractured jaw, which is looking like he could be out from around 6 to 8 weeks, which is rough. So he needs time to get his players back so he can actually implement the ways that he wants to play. And I know it sucks. We don't want any more time. We just want to push on. But it's the reality at this point. But look, there were positives. We fought back. We scored 2 late goals. We showed spirit. And we just need to figure out how to see games out. Particularly at home where we've won just once all season in the league. That's not okay. That's embarrassing for a club of our stature. But if we can start to correct this home form, and if we can start to get the players back and Thomas Frank can implement the ideas, play Udogie and Odobert off the left, let Kudus do his thing off the right, and get balls into Xavi Simons' paws, Spurs can be something dangerous this season. But it's gonna have to take time, and the question is, can Spurs fans stay patient, or will we drive another manager out of this club? Anyways, if you enjoyed that breakdown, do me a solid, smash that like button and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the match, and can you take any positives from this game, or is it just doomsday for you? Let me know. And also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, as we've got loads of content coming over the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned and you don't want to miss any of it. The North London derby is up next. Tottenham versus Arsenal. Eze versus Xavi. Two big signings. The let it all work out derby. Eze rejected Spurs for Arsenal. And when Tottenham called, Xavi answered. Who will prevail? Saka versus Kudus. Potentially Richarlison versus Gyökeres. And when you look at this match, the big factor for this game is the fact that Tottenham's road form has been impeccable this season. Will this road form translate over to the Emirates, or will it be another disastrous day out at their ground? We're going to find out very, very soon. Frank versus Arteta, haram ball tactics. Who will come out on top? Who will prevail? Is North London red, or is it really white? And also, if you want to see how these summer signings for Spurs like Palhinha and Kolomwani have been performing overall, I did a full breakdown video on Tottenham's summer transfer window. Click the video on screen and go check it out. It adds loads of context to where we are right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Spurs.